You mentioned the word entrepreneurs, and one of the things that I'm fascinated by, and I know having seen your talks and read some of your books, you're fascinated by is what it takes to be an entrepreneur. If you could describe, I know you've talked in broad terms about sustainable businesses driven by values, but if you could describe what are the sort of characteristics that have tended to make effective entrepreneurs in your time, that would be wonderful. And there was a very, very famous academic paper in the 1980s published in England that said that the qualities of an entrepreneur were a bit like that of a white-collar criminal. It was someone that's sort of mischievous, liked looking for opportunities, and sometimes had a sort of slightly naughty sense. So what are the qualities that you think it takes to be an entrepreneur is one thing. And the other thing is, how could you encourage the people here to have the confidence to take risks? There are a lot of people who grow through a business, they've been there 20, 30 years, they've always dreamt of being the CEO, and they've come through the finance division or whatever it might be, and they get to the top and they're at the top and they're in charge, they've got all this power, and actually they become very cautious because they want to consolidate that power. So how do you encourage people to have the courage and confidence to take risks in order to make their business continue growing? Related questions.
So let's do the first one. So I think the word entrepreneur is bandied about too loosely. That not everyone who owns a small business is an entrepreneur. There are small business owners and there are entrepreneurs.
What's an entrepreneur?
And you can find entrepreneurs in big companies. It doesn't mean that they're small business owners, right? I think entrepreneurs are problem solvers. I think
rather than risk takers.
Yeah. I think fundamentally there are plenty of risk takers, I think, who are entrepreneurs. There's a risk taker if you're a small business owner, right? You went out to start the business, but they're not the same, I don't think. And entrepreneurs are those ones who they're constantly looking to solve problems. And that's where I think they perceive opportunity or the mischief that you describe. I don't think inherently it's a sense of mischief. They're not trying to stir the pot for the sake of stirring the pot. I think that they see something and they're like, we can make that better, or we can fill that hole. And that's very much the way the famous entrepreneurs, the Elon Musks and the Richard Bransons operate. They see gaps. They see things that don't work.
As did Jobs.
As did Jobs. They see things that could be better. I mean, Elon Musk was just interviewed by Chris Anderson at TED last week. And Chris Anderson, sort of near the end of the interview, it's online, go watch it, it's really great. Chris Anderson asks Elon Musk something to the effect of, why are you doing all these things? Like, why don't you just stick with Tesla and be done with it? Like, why do all the other stuff? And you look at, and Musk, you can see this look on his face, and he takes a long time to answer. He actually doesn't understand the question. He cannot understand why you wouldn't do that. And he sort of gets emphatic, which for Elon Musk is pretty amazing, because he doesn't get emphatic. But that's basically what it is. He gets emphatic and says, because I want to live in a world that's better than this, or words to that effect, where I'm not, where the world that we're living in right now makes us unhappy. Why don't we want to live in a world that makes us happy? He gets sort of, he can't understand, and again, it's vision first. And that's why he doesn't understand why you wouldn't try and solve problems.